In the rolling fields and stone cottages of Emmerdale, pride has always been both a shield and a weapon. Next week, that truth cuts especially deep for Cain Dingle, whose stubborn silence threatens to cost him far more than he realizes. Cain has never been a man to lean on others. He carries grudges like armor and secrets like currency. But this time, the secret he's guarding isn't about revenge, money, or some village feud. It's about his own mortality. Diagnosed with prostate cancer and facing looming treatment, Cain chooses isolation over intimacy, even as his wife, Moira Dingle, remains behind bars. The tragedy isn't just the diagnosis. It's the timing. With Moira imprisoned and fighting to clear her name, Cain convinces himself that burdening her with news of his illness would only make things worse. He tells himself he's protecting her. In reality, he's protecting himself from vulnerability, from pity, from the unbearable possibility that he might need help. When a shock confession rocks the case, Beowulf admitting to the murder of Ray Walters, Cain glimpses something he hasn't felt in weeks: hope. If Bear's confession sticks, perhaps Moira's alleged ties to the slavery operation will unravel. Perhaps she'll be freed. Perhaps, finally, there will be space to breathe. For a fleeting moment, Cain considers telling her everything. In his mind, he rehearses the words. He imagines sitting across from Moira in the visiting room, her expression hard but her eyes softening as he speaks. He pictures her anger melting into concern, her strength becoming his. He even allows himself to imagine walking this path together. But hope is fragile in the Dingle world. When Cain arrives at the prison, tension crackles in the air. Raised voices echo down the corridors. Inmates square up in the visiting area, and chaos erupts. Officers rush in. Chairs scrape. Shouts ricochet off the walls. Cain watches as Moira is pulled back, caught in the swirl of unrest. The harshness of her reality slams into him. This isn't a safe place for confessions. This isn't a moment for tenderness. She's already fighting her own battle. He can see it in the set of her shoulders. And just like that, he retreats. Instead of telling her about the cancer, he talks about Bear's confession. He clings to it like a lifeline, presenting it as the breakthrough that could bring her home. Moira listens, cautious rather than celebratory. She's learned not to trust sudden turns of fortune. Still, there's a flicker of possibility between them. A shared understanding that this might be the beginning of the end of her ordeal. But that flicker dims quickly. The following day, reality strikes again. The police have uncovered Cain's attempts to pressure Bear into confessing. What he believed was a bold move now looks like interference. Worse still, Bear's admission does little to untangle Moira from suspicion. The legal net remains tight. Moira is furious. From her perspective, Cain's temper and impulsiveness have once again complicated matters. She sees a man acting out of desperation rather than strategy. What she doesn't see is the fear driving him, the silent countdown ticking in his mind. During their next meeting, Moira studies him closely. She knows him too well not to sense the shift. The restlessness. The distraction. The way his gaze sometimes drifts, as though he's calculating something only he understands. She presses him. What's really going on? It's a question that hangs heavy between them. A question that could crack everything open. For Cain, this is the crossroads. He could tell her the truth. He could admit that beneath the bravado and bluster, he's terrified. That he doesn't know what treatment will do to him. That he hates the idea of being seen as weak. That he needs her. Instead, he lies. He claims his frustration is solely about getting her home. He insists that's what's eating away at him. He plays the part of the devoted husband desperate to reunite his family. Moira isn't entirely convinced, but with her own freedom at stake, she has little energy to interrogate further. The moment passes. And with it, another opportunity for honesty. Cain's decision to double down on deceit marks the beginning of a darker spiral. By shutting Moira out, he isn't just withholding information, He's isolating himself from the very support system he'll soon desperately require. Pride becomes a prison of its own. Around him, family members sense the tension. Cain's temper shortens. His patience thins. He pushes away attempts at concern with sarcasm or anger. The more people try to get close, the harder he works to keep them at arm's length. There's a cruel irony in it all. Just as Moira might have reason to hope for release, Cain builds emotional walls that could leave him standing alone even if she walks free. The question isn't simply whether he's making a mistake. It's how long he can sustain it. Secrets in the village rarely stay buried. Illness has a way of revealing itself, whether through whispered hospital appointments or visible strain. And when the truth finally surfaces, as it inevitably will, the fallout may be harsher because of the silence that preceded it. Moira, already battling betrayal from the justice system, may feel betrayed in a far more personal way. Not because Cain is sick, but because he chose not to trust her with it. At its heart, this storyline isn't just about cancer or legal drama. It's about intimacy, the terrifying kind that requires stripping away bravado and admitting fear. For a man like Cain, that might be the hardest fight of all. As the weeks unfold, viewers are left wondering, will love be enough to bridge the gap his pride has created? Or will his refusal to open up cost him the very person he's trying so desperately to protect? In a village built on secrets, this may be the one that does the most damage.